You'll be on it.
Hmm?
You good?
Yes. Sorry.
And
Let me put phone on vibrate.
Dan, whenever you. This meeting has come to order. This is the License and Permits Committee meeting. My name is Robert Barnes, the committee chairperson. This is April 8th, 2025, 6 o'clock. I want to introduce my committee member.
Audrey De Jesus, committee member for the licensing committee.
And we have board members with us.
Marilyn Pena from Health and Human Service Committee.
Cecil Brooks, board member.
Diana Leonard, Bronx Community Associate, Bronx Community Board 1.
Anthony Jordan, District Manager to the board. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairman. As you see before you, we have an agenda for License and Permit Committee. As you said, today is April 8th. Before us, Mr. Chair, we had several different presenters today, but only one that happened to show up, as according to the rules, is our colleagues from Flavor King Genetics LLC, license number, serial number OCM MICR 240000172, are already established licensed OCM cannabis dispensary in the boundaries of the community board, located in the back of your pamphlet. Today we have
Christopher Shaw, owner, Flavor King Genetics LLC.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. 1 second.
You can start presenting your overview of your business.
Okay, so Flavor King Genetics LLC, we're a new company. We came to establish getting involved in the cannabis business with the focus of being on genetics. Seeing what's going on with the approval of cannabis in New York City and kind of the roller coaster of what the market's been doing from the street market to the legal market and what's actually been going on. So one of the focus that we felt would be a great need would be a genetics company that's focusing on genetics. So what we're looking to create is almost like an incubator in the Bronx, where we applied for the micro business license, which gives us pretty much full range to be into delivery, dispensary, cultivation. The reason why we did that is because it gives us an avenue to grow the market, but also educate in all three. So we're not looking to be the most profitable dispensary or the most profitable cultivation company. It's more of bringing in the community and teaching everyone about, well, what is the genetics behind, marijuana. My interest came into it as I saw my grandparents go through cancer and things like that, and they was prescribed to go use cannabis and things like that. So my goal was to bring that because, I felt that cannabis could be a tool to be used through the industry to help whether you have ADHD, whether you have anxiety, whether you have cancer, but what's the safe place? Where do you go to say, hey, we know this has been properly tested, it's been properly grown, you know what we have, versus just going to a corner store and saying, hey, I need something with this, and someone handing you a packet and you're trusting that individual. So we're trying to bring like a chain of custody to the cannabis business and say, well, this is where we can go. And by doing that, we're looking to bring in the community where, hey, there's a place to go to learn about it. There's a place to go to understand what it takes to get into cultivation. And there's a place to go to even process the application of what you need to do. So we put a team together from different consultants, different people in the industry, and we're looking to branch out and launch, hopefully, fourth quarter of this year with the incubator concept that, I'm looking to work with the community board and really open the door that if anybody's interested that of age and want to learn about the business could come to our location and learn about the business and take it from there. So that's really what the concept with Flavor King Genetics is. We're Under lease, we've been in the space for a couple of years now, so this is something that we've been putting a business plan together for several years right now. I did include a floor plan of what the space looks like. So looking at the floor plan, we're looking to set up, a small retail, which would be more just for books, some product, different merchandise and things like that, that anyone that comes in could always have access to. We're looking to have a commercial kitchen, medium-sized grow area, classroom space, and lecturing space, all rolled up in one. So, average person interested, or hey, you're just interested in getting quality cannabis, you can come and say, hey, this is this is what it is. You can learn about it, almost like a museum tour that you're learning about. This is what you're ingesting, and this is what it will do, and this is what it will not do. The other thing what we're looking to do is use the space as a medium of bringing all the dispensaries together and saying, well, what strands, what product is actually being introduced into the New York market, and kind of giving everybody an understanding of saying, there's a street name for everything that you'll hear or you might not hear. So it's like, well, what is that? Someone says, hey, I'm smoking gas. Well, what is that? I'm smoking, chronic. I'm smoking, kush. I'm smoking. There's a million different street names, but what it actually is, and that's what someone coming in saying, hey, this is what we want to do, and looking to work with other people where we're going to have a kitchen where if you wanted to do edibles and kind of we can work with chefs, we can work with this and say, well, we know how to properly extract the oils, we know how to do this. We can give you the science part to say, well, hey, I want to create an edible, I want to create this. So we can work with local cooks and things like that to develop a menu, to develop a product that's going to go through all the testing, everything, to be able to be safe for the public to ingest. So that's kind of what the idea was when I put this together. And, it's something that's been going on 3 years now. So I'm happy where the place I have it. And I'm looking forward to expand. I've done a lot of business in the Bronx over my years. My primary background was always construction. And, from there I developed into an entrepreneur and a businessman, and always had my hands into, participating in Harlem and the Bronx. So.
For the members' record, this recognize the business is located, has a lease at 208 Ryder Avenue in the Bronx, New York, 10451, off 137th Street, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And this, if you could help the board's understanding, can you, in the floor plan, if you could hold it up and point to where exactly, what parts of the business would, since it's not labeled, will have what parts from different parts is for everyone else's education.
Yeah, so everybody can see it. So if you're looking, I'm starting left-hand side in the open area here. So this open area here is going to be open space for lecturing, for events, for things like that. This box over here, we're going to have the commercial kitchen. This is the walk-in box to service the commercial kitchen going from there. This right here is our restroom. This is our general office space. This is our retail space. This is another lounge area for the space. This is a classroom space right here. That's a part of the lounge. And then we have our cultivation area right here. So you have your cultivation area and you have your dry-in rooms.
And so, for our education, also, you will be you are subleasing the bottom level of a 2-story building.
So we have the second floor of a 3-story building.
For a 3-story building, and an elevator building or staircase?
It's an elevator building. It has a commercial elevator there. It's a loading dock. So one of the things that we're going to do as part of the small construction that we're going to be doing is creating a ramp. So this way, if a wheelchair person has to come, they can utilize that, and we can use the elevator to get them up to the second floor.
I just wanted to bring those questions up, and I have other questions if the chair allows, but I'll leave the questions for the chair and the rest of the members. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, so, thank you for coming before the board, because I know, the initial application that you presented went to the state, and, they come to us first. but we appreciate you.
Yeah, and I apologize. It was a weird, we wasn't gonna, we felt we wasn't ready. Then we got some help with OCM, and it was like, all right, we can get it in. That's why I think I emailed back. I had the form in there to send to you guys, and it's just, yeah, it was one of those, let's see if we can make it happen. So I do apologize for kind of going a little round the block to get here.
That's so have you ever operated one of these, or this your first, or you?
So no, so I haven't. This is my first one that I will be operating. So my background is the mechanical engineering side of this. So my background is architecture and mechanical engineering. So I've built several large-scale greenhouses, cultivation centers. So when it comes to no noise, no smell, proper air, I'm the guy for that.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So that's where I come in, and I have seasoned growers and cultivators out west that will be coming in to get involved, along with managers that would be involved to manage the day-to-day.
It states that you have 5 employees.
Yeah.
That's on site, or?
So it would be 5 employees on site at all time.
Okay.
Once we're in operation.
And I presume they're city residents?
City
or
residents,
Yeah. They're all from
Yeah,
Harlem, right?
2 from Harlem, and then we'll do outreach for some locals as well.
That'd be very great. I know that you mentioned that the promoted events that you have. I think you listed 4 events.
Yeah.
And how would that take place? Would that take place inside, or would you?
So it would take place inside. So we might do like a yoga event. We might do an edible event where we work with a chef and they create a menu and we have invites there. So that's what we're kind of considering promoting an event, but nothing like a party or anything.
No,
like that.
I'm just saying because it would be helpful if you let us know so we could, engage in that with you guys, and
And one of the reasons why I wanted to come here to see, like, well, how much engagement can I have with you guys? Like, it's, what I told you in the beginning is really what the concept is and really what I want to promote. So, I always go, no matter what project I ever worked on, this and that, I was always tied to the community board and really helping and promoting and going from there. So
but that's our district manager. He would definitely, have the discussion. Any questions from the board?
You didn't mention what's the square footage on the property?
So it's 5,000 square feet. I'm sorry. The second floor is 5,000 square feet.
And you're talking about building out for the accessibility ramp, which I applaud you for that. Does that building have a sprinkler system?
Yes, they're fully sprinkled on the second floor.
And then, so when you mentioned the kitchen, is that gonna be for food or is that gonna be towards the business aspect of it?
It's going to be more towards the business aspect. So it's going to be, if we're.
No, I'm talking about regular food, or is it gonna be cannabis stuff?
Oh, it's going to be canned stuff. So no,
Oh, okay.
no regular food.
I was like, wait a minute.
No regular food.
And then, because I saw the steps and security surveillance, how are you gonna have? I saw that you have one person for 24-hour security.
Yeah, so we have one person, 24-hour security, which would be a rotation. So there'll be a different security guard there, each day or each shift. So there'll be 3 shifts in a day, someone there, and it's just pretty much being there first off. Security wise, we're going to have state-of-the-art security. We have most of it up on the building right now. So we have everything from infrared cameras to cameras that could take your license plates.
Cool.
We could see pretty much to 2 blocks up, 2 blocks back, all the way up to East 137th Street. We have door alarms. We have fire alarms. So we have everything there. So we put a little effort into designing just for our safety and everyone else's safety that's going to be in the space.
So
I'm sorry.
The customers that will be coming into your establishment, I saw it like a little door here in the picture here.
Yeah.
That was, so they would be.
So yeah, so there's a side door. That's our main door to get to the stairs to go there. We're looking to utilize the elevator to go up because we can control it better. So that's what we're looking to do. So the side entrance is really just emergency exit coming from there. We're looking to utilize the elevator to come up and down. Security be there. We are doing if you want to have full access to a space, you're kind of going to be vetted. So it's just not going to be walk off the street. Hey, we heard this. It's going to be a vetted situation of what we're going to do.
So,
And you failed to put how many people legally occupy the space at
Yeah.
any given day.
Yeah. So if we go by New York City code, we probably could get 200 people maximum occupancy in the space. I didn't put that there because we're never going to have 200 people in that space.
It's over
But
there
yeah.
that we know.
By city code, we could have 200 people.
you're posted that one.
Yeah, we'll have a
The
decent
certificate of occupancy.
Yep.
You have it?
We don't have it yet,
Okay.
but we will
So
apply
you're
for
not
it.
ready to open up
No,
yet?
we're not. So we're still in the past design stage. We have a kind of design and a concept for where we're at. We're putting together all the funds to kind of, and the team members to kind of get us over the next. So we're looking at like a October.
Cool.
So,
My last question is, when you do your ribbon cutting and you do your opening, are you gonna have a live DJ and promote it outside with a big, or are you gonna make a big fuss about it? Because we wanna know.
I would like to, but I would like to make it more, hey, we're here, we're opening, have people come by. We want to do pre-promotion of where we're getting involved with the community. We just don't want to spring in and say, hey, we're open, come in.
Got you.
We kind of want to have a 3-month, starting in like July, August, September, kind of promoting, getting involved with the community. It's a great space because a lot of developments going around.
Yeah, we were looking at the
so,
map.
Yeah, so we want to kind of introduce everybody softly of, hey, this is what we're doing, come out. So it might be a couple of times like, hey, here's what the space is going to be about and everything going from there. And then having the ribbon cutting and opening.
Thank you.
Any questions from anybody?
Yeah, I have a question. So it's just a comment. In regards to the elevator that you explained, is it the one that's next to the doorway? Is it the yellow?
Yeah, the yellow double
one?
door right there.
And you're I guess the idea is you're processing to see how is that gonna look inviting for wheelchair accessible.
So
Because I see that there's like you have these poles in front of it and it says no parking. Is there a permit or something that you have to complete on the side for that?
no, so the no parking is just building because it's a active elevator, so
Mhm.
there's no parking, so no one can park in front of there. So we would always have that no parking. I would probably go to DOT to get a full no parking sign there, so this way no one can park there, and if it is, we can get them towed. But but
Wanna be up front.
the the elevator there is ADA accessible. It does do a 5-foot radius in the platform, so it is ADA accessible. The only thing that it needs now is the proper one-to-one ramp
The ramp,
coming
yeah.
from there to go down.
And you still have those, I don't know what this is called, the poles that's in the
Yeah,
way.
those are easily removed. We're going to
Okay.
remove those and clean all that up as part of the exterior work.
And are you guys gonna have like a signage or something outside of that building to know that you guys are in business, or you
No.
just want it to be very discreet?
I'm trying to be, for safety reasons, why I'm trying to be as discreet as possible,
Okay.
especially if we're going to be cultivating
That's
and,
right.
and doing that. So we're not looking for no real signage. We are going to just be, hey, this is what the building is. When you come up, our signage is going to be when you get up off the elevator.
Right.
Like this is
Perfect.
where you're at. And we're not going on the gimmicks of neon and bright colors. It's really, it's nice. It's more, we're catering to, the adult community. Really, we're not looking to have flashy colors and stuff like that.
My last follow-up question is: have you collaborated or in the works with other local cannabis license in the area, or no?
We have a relationship with Cookies.
Okay.
So, and Viola, which is not in New York, but out of New York, we have a lot of relationships.
Okay. No further questions.
You good?
I have a question. So I understand there's a school that's being built in the area, and I believe I think I saw that there was a milestone for this fall, somewhere around October as well. Are there any plans for? I know you said you want to keep it discreet, but any plans for how the security will do their thing when there's parents and children walking up and down?
So we're aware of the school. I'm still trying to make contact with someone We did reach out when we learned with all the development. Then we tell, okay, a school's coming. We were kind of there first, but the school, we wanted to reach out and just, if our hours of operation have to be adjusted, we would adjust our hours of operation.
I
So we
think they're
wanted,
gonna have to be adjusted.
so we wanted to talk with the school and just say, hey, this is where, what are we looking at? The good thing about our space, it's not going to be a lot of foot traffic in the morning or anything like that. Because again, our main focus isn't dispensary. Like let's open up and sell. So it's really going to be a membership base, cultivating and things like that. So you're not going to see anything, you're not going to hear anything, and you're not going to smell anything.
Right.
But being that, kids are smarter as adults, so once the word is out there and everybody, oh, hey, well, that's a cultivated place, they do that there. We want to kind of have a relationship with the school and say, how do we kind of coexist?
Okay.
And I'm up to it if they came and say, hey, we would mind you to adjust your hours from 12 to 8 instead of 10 to 8. We would be okay with doing that.
Okay. One more question. So I'm curious if the security guards would have the like ID scanners.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're gonna have the ID scanner to make sure there's no fake IDs, everything going from there. There'll be a vetting process. Again, there's gonna be kind of a membership base. So there's gonna be a vetting process to even get your membership ID and go right from there. And then also you have the card scanners, you have everything from there. And again, we're not looking to invite walk-offs off the street. Like if you come in, it's going to be either you're a member, you have your own ID to get access, and go from there. So that's kind of how we're going to do it. But yeah, all the latest technology to make sure there's no minors or anything coming in.
Can I ask one follow-up? I'm sorry. Yeah. So I just wanted just for clarification, the what ifs. So what if someone does walk up to your establishment? What's that process? What does that look like? Is that something that they would get informed, or would they have to contact someone in order for them to be vetted in? Or because,
So we have a holding area as you walk into the space. So
okay.
So if you came up, we have our electronic keypad. It comes in, does a facial scan.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Right from there.
Oh, so you're inviting us to check it out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Because that's what I want.
You get a facial scan. That scan goes up right to where the security guard would be. Cool. You don't get to use the elevator. You go up the stairs and you're in a holding area. So when you walk in that vestibule, there's a window there now. You come in and they process you. They do everything. They check your IDs. They run everything. And then you go in. There's that whole room has a metal detector. So it's almost like an airport. So if you go in, it's going to have metal on you. It's going to go off. And then the security guard can react and go right from there.
Okay. Thank you.
That's one of the things that we invested in.
When you found out about the school and everything, how did you react to that there's going to be a school being built next to your facility?
I was concerned. Only because of the regulations, and it's a 2-year permit. I mean, it's a 2-year license. So
but you got your lease until 2028.
Yeah, like any lease in New York City, you're gonna take it for 5 years. Yeah. Unfortunately, but every 2 years we got to renew our license. So that doesn't mean we have to go through the same process. We have to go through that. We spoke with OZM, and it was just like listen, you're gonna have to renew. You're gonna have to go from there. I think we're right in. We're not next door to them, so it's really. We'll update the map, let it know that it's there, and then, if we have a good working relationship, then it should be.
So the staff that you're gonna hire, do they need a special permit to work in this business?
No, they don't.
So they're gonna be trained on that?
So all the cultivators have degrees. They have, no license, but they all have degrees.
They have the knowledge. They know how to.
Everybody has over 15 years of grown experience.
Thank you.
District manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to walk through your license. And again, I'm sorry that we didn't have an early opportunity to walk through this in the beginning of the process, but we always have time to make up.
Yeah.
Right?
I apologize for that.
So what I wanted to talk to you about who's the other tenant in the building with you?
So you have a millwork company that's on our top floor, and then you had a gym they're no longer there, but you had a fit out.
It was like a
CrossFit
CrossFit.
gym on the
Mhm.
first floor.
I
Those
know
are the
exactly
tenants.
where you at now.
Yeah, those are
when
the
you said
tenants.
Right, no
Yeah,
longer
me
there.
They're
too.
no longer there.
So
yeah.
when you walk through the office, the operating hours, what led you to this operation hours?
I just when we put it down on the application, I'm in the firm belief if you have a business and you're paying rent, I want to be open as long as I can.
Sure.
And go from there. So that's what made me just pick, hey, from 10 to 8, we're there, and we'll adjust accordingly based off of how we see fit. The reality of it, I don't think we'll be operating 10 to 8.
All right. Right. Well, you know, if there's opportunity to make money, look at in this industry, and you being one of few dispensaries in the boundaries, I'm sure you want to the opportunity of that.
Yeah.
Who are your other business partners with this, and what are their percentages in the business?
So when I filed for the application, I filed as 100% owner. So I didn't issue any shares. I didn't issue anything. Anyone that came to the table was either brought on as a consultant or they could be brought on as an employee.
And what is and then the employee and consultant, what is their titles or roles in the business?
So out of the 5 that we're going to hire, you're going to have a head cultivator. Then you're going to have his helping hands, which is typically 1 to 2 people. You're going to have a person there that's kind of like the concierge to help people. They come in and navigate through the space. And then you're going to have someone that would be working for the retail space or anything going from there. So those would be your 5. But the main 3 people that's going to be in there all the time would be the head cultivator and his 2 helpers.
So the cultivating, walk us through that. Where it is, will there be any growing of a product there, or just like a wine tasting business and not trying to?
So we will be
testing out the different products.
Yeah, we will be growing. We'll have more young plants than full mature plants. So we will be cultivating from seed to mature plant. We're looking to, have again more clones and more baby plants than adult plants.
Mhm.
And that's only just because of how we're going to be set up in the limited amount of space we do have. The micro license only lets you cultivate in 3,500 square feet. There's only so much that you can produce and so much that you can do. So what we're looking to do is say, well, if we're going to market these 6 strands to the New York market and it takes a lot of money and a lot of resource to put the science behind it. So we don't, 6 talking to you now, 6 is a lot. We might start out with 2 and say, this is where we're going to go. And here's the process. We might show you, here's it at seed sprouting here at, 2 weeks in, here's where it's at, a month in. And keep all the way down where here's a full plant that's been living for a year.
Cool.
So that's what the genetic part is about, to show someone that whole process.
Nice.
So if you're coming and you're looking to purchase, you're not coming to us to say, well, I want to purchase a pound of this.
Mm-hmm.
You're purchasing the genetics. If you're a dispensary or another cultivator, you're in New York, you're going to come to us and look and say, no, they have the yields. We didn't genetically created this product that is going to give you the best yields, the best product, and here's what it looks like. And that's what we're doing. So I took the concept. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, with the gold rush. The guys that made the most money wasn't the guys going in the mountain digging for gold. It was the guys selling the picks and shovels.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the concept of what I have is
I like that
showing it that way. So when they come and it's the best genetics. So it's like, well, hey, we want 100 clones of this. We want this many seeds of this, and it's like that's where how things is. So you might come in and see 4 mature plants, and then see 100 small clones, and those clones are being packaged and sent out to where they need to go to.
So you're different. I'm sorry.
The chair. I was
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. And so I wanted to talk about. So you say you want to do a minimum of two strands. I was going to go into that about the working these different strands because I know that you talked about your passion comes from understanding medicine from people, unfortunately, that were suffering from terminal illnesses, and this also has a lot of the ability to be able to help with illnesses like Parkinson's diseases and others too, to help in the ability to deal in those chronic diseases. So I commend you for that. And I think you're one of few, if not the only, dispensary that's looking to use science in a cultivating kind of like field to help folks understand, but also it seems like you are going to be supplying, once folks understand, to other dispensaries that are in the New York State or the five borough area.
So it's going to be in the 5 borough area that we can distribute to and sell to. But again, what I mentioned earlier, we're going to create that chain of custody.
Mhm.
So this way, if you're in Queens and you see that label, you know it came through the right process, the right labs, everything, that you're getting what you're paying for. And that's the part we're working out now, where, well, how does it, make sure it can't be counterfeited? How do we go through the whole process
Authenticated.
to do that? And with the micro business, it helps us because we can actually deliver it. We can deliver it. We can log it into the POS system where it's going. It can read back to our POS system. So we picked Dutchy, which is our POS
Dutchy
system.
Pay.
Yeah, because it gives that capability. So I can go to your dispensary and check in and everything. It's going to register back at my dispensary. And all that is just to create the chain of custody. So if you came in, I can give you a sheet and say, "Yep, this is certified. It was delivered. This is there," and go right from there and go. And if you're a
Take
member,
responsibility for your product.
exactly. I think that's the key, and I think that's what's going
It's
to
a
be.
brand name, like they said in American Games.
Exactly.
Well, I want to invite. I would like to go on.
I mean,
that too.
and we would love, and the chair is a visual learner along with the rest of the team, so we would love to come and have an understanding of your process as you get along the way of setting up, and then we will also want to understand, because we understand that this is part of economic development, so we'd love to see either when you do a soft opening or whatever, so we can have an understanding of how it functions within the brand. My other question goes into talking about your other passions besides this. You talked about most of the dispensaries like to, as you do education, as you look to run a business, is what's your community engagement intentions and involvement as a neighbor with businesses in that area? I understand it to be a commercial area. I think it's 1 or 2 government agencies that are there. There's a school going to be coming there. I'm not sure how far are you from residential. What's been your historic and what's been your what's going to be your passion going forward as a person, as a business in the community? Not saying that you have to have any, but I've always like to understand what business, what's your passion?
So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but
No,
I like
here.
that
Yeah,
question. I'll answer that question by going a little bit in my history, then going into answering your question. So I grew up in New York City construction. I was a construction baby, going from, I would say 85, but it was just a young kid running around with a hard hat on with my father. My father was a very big advocate from the 80s all the way to the early 2000s, before he passed away, with MWBE community. So I've been to every caucus, I've been to every event. My father did some great projects in New York City. So I came up in that environment. So when I come to say, well, hey, I could bring opportunity to what society like to call the underdeprived areas of New York, it's really, well, what can I bring? So my thing is, the greatest thing we can bring is knowledge. So part of creating this incubator here was, here's the knowledge. Now you can take, kids that are coming out of college going, this is something you want to get into, here's how you can get into it. The cannabis industry is going to be a very tricky market.
Yeah.
And I feel that you're going to have a lot of minority kids looking to get into it, but not know how, be taken advantage of, and possibly get themselves in trouble on the federal level. So we're lining up, from the lawyers to the banks, how do you do this business? And going to knowledge share. We're going to share that knowledge. We want to invite. I was excited to come here because I want to work with you guys to say, well, how do you guys want to connect to the community? How do we go from here? Like, once we're up and we're able to do tours, we're able to have, my time is available if anyone wants to learn, if anybody wants to see how they can get involved with the cannabis market. So, to answer your question, I'm looking to be heavily involved with the community. I've been in the Bronx for a long time. Like I said, my background has been in construction for the last 23 years, and I've done a lot of great projects. I visited residential on Webster Avenue. I built, years ago, the building for for Paloma and with her FQAC. So we got involved with healthcare. We got involved with anything related to giving back to community. So I'm going to continue that legacy because that was the legacy of my father, and it's my legacy as well. So any ideas, but I want to connect as much as I can.
And I brought up, Michael, and I thank you for that. And it's encouraging. I'm sure that we would love to see you attend a lot of our community board meetings, general
Yes.
board meetings, to understand about what are the issues and concerns, but also the work of the community board. We consider ourselves a very progressive, proactive community board, and not reactive. And we set standards from everywhere from our housing to our professional businesses to our healthcare and other facilities. We don't no longer tolerate that. Oh, that's the way things are in South Bronx as a standard service. We still have a lot of things to accomplish and overcome, but we have a great team of professionals that are working closely together with in different levels to be able to achieve those outcomes that we have quarterly and then each year as a board.
Okay.
I want to talk about security. Of course, people, while we understand that this became an issue where this became law, where we had to work with to help opine upon under the municipal law to on the establishment of these facilities are concerned. Well, of course, there's some common concerns about dispelling the issues that were coming out with the illegal dispensaries which was your competition. We're working closely with the sheriff to close those facilities down and help those folks who want to legitimize themselves to becoming legitimized licensed dispensaries. And we took this responsibility very seriously and as you can see from the application, on top of the application you had to put together, helping us to understand what was each dispensary was looking like. But the biggest concern about is the lack of the majority of resources that have to go to securing the community around these facilities, because you always have some of those folks in the community who could feel they can be able to knock down the delivery man or the person coming out outside of the facility, or kind of unfortunately profitize from the likely robbing or burglarizing facility. Your security as it relates, you seem like you did a very good job making it very sophisticated. That you use pictures and videos and so on, and you are using the scanning system. How is your security armed? Security on site?
So
or
the company we
unarmed?
work with do have armed licensed security officers. Some will be, depending on the hours, will be in rotation to be armed and certain things that are happening. If any monies move, any product move, it's going to be done through, a brink style movement to go over and deter from anything from happening. And we're preparing for. I hate to have to think this way, but we thought about the worst case scenario of someone coming in, tying everybody up, and going from there. And we developed a security system to go from there. In this business, our security is probably 30% of our costs to operate. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, it's not cheap to have 24-hour security. It's not cheap to have these type of systems and these type of pickup. Like, it's almost 30% of our costs is security. And when you look at it, the myth is this: hey, you're gonna go into the cannabis, you're a millionaire overnight, and it's by far the case. We would be lucky to generate, on a good year out of this space, $1.2 million, based off of what our concept is. So, the corner bodega does more than us, but everyone sees now they're in Canada, they have this, they have the plants up there, they have this, so we have to go in because that's millions and millions of dollars sitting there, and it's not the case.
Yeah.
So, there's no way to deal with that now other than to plan for it and make sure you're secured and you have the access points that deter people from going away. And it's really, that's why there's no signage. It's this. We really want no one to know unless you need to know and go from there. So we're not looking to have parades up and down the block and this. Like, no, we want to be quiet, discreet, and those who need to come into the space would come into the space.
And that was my thing. Thank you, Chairman. This is my last point I want to make is that not only you want to make sure that people who are coming there to purchase product, but people who are there to the cultivation process or working there, et cetera, they're safe because in that area, I'm not sure much transportation in the area. So people leaving, people going, public transportation at all. And then this thing about policing who do not normally police in that area to thinking about your safety, your investment, that you and that your team's safety being there, and that it is a significant part of the economic development engine for our borough and for our state. And while and so those are all the things that we would like to see that you have those concepts and ideas in mind. You don't own do you own any part of the property right now, or
We
you just
don't.
leave-
I am in talks with the landlord about possibly purchasing the building.
Right.
But you know, that might be
That's a long term.
that might be a year away or
Yeah.
so with that. But
Right.
and I have a long relationship with the landlord, so you know, he's getting older. He was like, "Why don't you just buy the building?" And I said, "Well, give me a year.
Let's make some money
see,
first.
Yeah, let's see what happens,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
we'll go from there. Before I take on more debt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Medical licensing, are you welcoming that also into your establishment?
So I actually tried in the beginning for a medical license. We just couldn't pull it together. This was years back when medical cannabis was coming on board. But yes.
But can you accept somebody who has a license?
Yes. Yes, we can.
My last question, when you mentioned the lounge,
Mhm.
are people gonna be in there smoking or hanging out, you know, like casually, you know?
So you
conversing?
might have what we call like a tasting event.
Mhm.
If we have some people coming in, it'd be, you know, a certain amount that would be out, and it would be, you know, select people. So you might have 15 to 20 people in a tasting event, different brands, different dispensaries, different things that we would invite out to come out and have that. Our key here is no smell. So, you know, I don't know if you guys ever been to, ladies ever been to a cigar lounge?
Yes, I smoke cigars.
So, you know, I had the privilege to go to the Grand Havana room years ago, and I went there and I was like, yo, you don't smell any
Don't.
cigar smoke.
That's right.
And then I had the opportunity to work in that building, and I saw the whole infrastructure of how they did it.
Mm.
Okay.
And I took pictures. I did this. I said, this is
Light
fascinating.
bulb.
Yeah. So, and this is years ago. So when I got in this, I said, I know exactly what we would do when it comes to the
To make
units, come with the bipolar ionization, come with everything to kind of the scrubbers. So there's no smell.
So you're smelling up.
Yeah. So that's the goal right now.
Like, I've been to some cigar houses. Like,
Yeah.
So we're
in my head.
foaming all the ceiling.
yeah.
We're doing a perimeter seal, going from there.
Are
So
Do you have solar panels?
no, we don't. I wish we did, but we
So
don't.
your everything is electrical?
Everything's electric. We do have gas on site as well. So it's electric and gas on that.
Wow, that's gonna be.
I just want to
that bill.
piggyback on the district managers, the safety. Have you been in conjunction with the local NYPD?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I
What
wanted
percent
to.
is that?
I wanted to get.
40.
40%. Okay.
I wanted to get a little bit further down and get the plan going, and then I wasn't gonna go to them first. I was gonna come, get the introduction, sit down with the right people, and say, "Here's the plan. Here's what we're going through." I even would want them to kind of do a walkthrough of what our safety is going to be and what our security system will be. Maybe they have some pointers and some things like that. We do know local cops in the area because we like I said, we've been there for 3 years. So, you know, the block has improved. That's one thing that I can say. And with the development that's going on, East 137 has changed in the last 3 years. So, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing.
Our district managers definitely will be helpful with that introduction. The last question that I have is that this site you're proposing, is that the first one here in the Bronx city? Like,
That's the first. This is the first of its kind.
Your first baby.
Yeah, and then the plan is to expand this.
I'm saying, this is the
Throughout.
first citywide or Bronx-wide?
This is the first Bronx-wide, first citywide, for this space.
I like to be first sometimes.
No, it's good.
You know, I like to be first sometimes. That's great.
You'll make mistakes, you'll learn from them.
That's
but
right.
I think if we perfect this, it's going to be something good.
And we do have a relationship in the our local 40 precinct with the crime prevention officer. He will walk, so that you have other cannabis facilities, so he will walk you through and evaluate your security system to determine do you have access doors or the access like
We have
keypad or
everything's accessed by keypad
or key fob.
That key for everything. You have to have a code to get in.
Cool.
Right, and then the panic number in case
Panic number to go right from there.
Right.
So
All the locks are backed up to 72-hour battery. All the locks. So if we lose power, you got 72 hours. Then after 72 hours, they automatically unlock.
You have a safe?
Yeah.
DVR,
DVR,
cameras.
everything's recorded. You can see them mobilely and go right from there. So it's recorded, then we dump it to the cloud every 72 hours.
Got it. Because again, that's another thing about access control. Now so I come off the elevator. I come in. I'm a member. I'm a member for life. I'm a member for once a year. I'm a member for what? What is that?
So it's a yearly membership, and it's no guests. So if you have a membership, it's only your membership. You can't bring a guest. You can't bring anyone. They would have to go through the process to get their own member ID.
What's the starting price?
So the membership fee that we're charging is $20 a month for the membership. That's your access card, and that's everything from sales to things to tours to events,
Discounts and
and stuff like that.
They're gonna have a picture on the ID?
Yes, all IDs will have a picture.
Help me understand the THC or whatever infused food, the levels.
So the levels, it's a very small level of THC that goes into like edibles, and the problem is
just feel it and relax and buzz.
Yeah, but the issue with that is the way it concentrates because you're cooking it. So and it's oil. So oil is probably 10 times stronger than you're smoking the flower. So when you look at that, that's why you hear people like, oh, I ate 3 gummies, and it's like, oh, you have to go sit down.
You'd be all right.
So that's where, because not everybody wants to smoke, or everybody wants to smell. So it's like if you have, the edibles, the gummies, the things like that.
Depending on the tolerance.
To me, that's going to be, I think, the biggest market because it's going to be more controlled, but it's the most dangerous because your animals, your kids, it's edibles. And I think this is real.
Can I be taking look at somebody as a date elegantly go to have like a infused hamburger, or am I going to have this only a gum or
so you wouldn't be going to here to have an infused hamburger.
I'm just giving it.
No. So I'll give you an example.
Salad.
You have a local restaurant here that wants to say, "Hey, I'm able to get into the cannabis business. I want to come up with an infused menu, drinks, menu, things like that." He would connect with us, and then he would create that menu in our space because we would have the strands, we would have the oils, we would have
everything. Training my staff, he training my chefs how to do.
He would come in and we would properly say, no, for this here, try this much. This is the effect of the THC if you put, 1 milligram in there.
That's like chemistry, yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's the science aspect of it. So that's why, flavors, we have many flavors. The genetics is the science. So that's what we would be about. So we would take your restaurateur and bring them in. Let's create the menu. This is where we go. We look at it as it's a partnership with them because like anything with cooking, well, no, I have the best product. So I'm going to go to Flavor Kings to get my oils and everything, what I need to make the menu. So
you won't take me as a member, and I can't say me and my girl's gonna have me and my gang's gonna have a good time, and we're gonna be trained, and we're gonna take this home, and we're gonna be able to maybe make a meal at home with it versus using. So it depends on the membership.
So if you're a member, one of the things that we will have is like, hey, come cook with cannabis. So if you and your girl wanted to come and say, hey, we're gonna make this menu, this is how you make it. So because what happens is, it has to be trained, like especially when it comes to food.
Yes.
And if you have kids in the house, if you have your dog that you love, They
It's
can't
gonna be
ingest
some-
cannabis. Your
Right,
child
right.
cannot. They just
Wow. It's
so
gonna have
it's
effect.
really like you need to understand the safety levels and everything
Mhm.
going from there.
Mhm.
You know, and New York market right now is they want the strongest of the strong. And you know, we talk to people, and I'm like, you do realize like you don't need that much. You know, I want the highest THC level cannabis. Like you, what are you trying to accomplish? Do you want to mellow out? Do you want to pass out and into a coma?
Right.
Like, are you just trying to relax? You want to listen to music? Like, what is your experience that you're trying to have with cannabis? And when they come sit down, I'm like, and you be shocking. And, you know, it'll be a 23-year-old guy we're talking to, and he's just like, you know, yeah, I had a hard day. You know, I was arguing with my girlfriend. I just want to come. So what do you want? Do you want to get, you know,
Nice or you want
nice, mellow out, let the stress
Right.
go away?
Sure.
Or do you want to go and pass out in your bathroom? He's like, no, I just want to mellow out and let it all go away. I said, then you want
Gotcha.
this. You don't want a product that has 27% THC. You want a
Not
product
even
that's
Snoop Dogg
more
wants that.
2 to 5. Exactly. You don't want that.
2 to 5.
And they're like, oh, but how do I know? And I'm like, you don't know. Because if you go to this store, all it is just anything in a fancy bag.
Mhm.
Like, that's what I call it. It's
Mhm.
anything in a fancy bag. I'll give you a pretty bag, this, that. Oh, look at this. I give you a little character with it. Oh, look at it. It's cool. But you do not know what you're ingesting.
Right.
So now they'd be able to come and say, hey, but part of the membership is
It's regulated.
like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Like, and I'm even, you know, like, what are you affected? And that's part of the questionnaire. That's part of everything that we're going to be asking. So we can pair you with the proper product. Like, this is what you want. This is this. And we might not have it, but because of the chain of custody and because we'll be talking to other dispensaries, we'll say, no, these are the questions you want to ask, and this is what you want to look for.
And medical history on
Right.
some of your clients.
Exactly.
You know, I want to say, Chair, before we close, thank you for taking the time. Is that that we understand that this industry is now higher education toward industry because it has become extremely the part of the way of life and around economic development and education and the science. I am very interested as a DM as we look at from seed to ingesting of this particular business, especially we look at how the disposal of it too, because it's not only has a chemistry type education part, it also has people who are selling it, but it also talks about how do you dispose of an unused product in an environmental way. And so we have to prepare a workforce that is going to be involved in all aspects of it, as young people who have opportunities to get jobs that don't always require the highest education, but ability to have the vocational training, know-how to be able to get into this. And so the reason that intrigues me is because of this business's desire, as it reports today, to be able to use science as a way to. So I'm very interested when the proprietor can be able to invite us out and to do a responsible tour of the facility. I don't know if all of us ingesting anything at that time, but that's a joke. But understanding how we can support this, and I thank the chairman for his leadership on this. And I thank the proprietor for taking it.
And we'll, like I said, we're in April now. You know, I would say let's plan that we meet. You know, we meet again come June, July. I'll come to the next community board meeting. I don't know if you guys break for the summer, but
July, August.
July, August. So
For meetings, but the office
meeting.
is still operational.
Yeah, maybe we come
And events we're still
I
doing.
could put something like I'll create like a little video, and we're working. This is something we're working on now. That just instead of me saying it, I can just hit play and to show you exactly what we're looking to create, and then go right from there. But you know, and then September we'll be able to definitely do that walkthrough.
Chairman will invite you out.
Yeah, I would like, you know, before the ending of our, you know, session, I would like you to come to the community board, just give us like a little presentation.
We could do that.
You know,
The presentation will help a lot because that's the only way we can be able to support you as a community, and also to properly educate and provide clarification to the community what you were, you know, what your business is gonna look like.
Yeah, and what I would like to do, I want to show you guys the science of what we're actually going to be doing. So you'll see the video. You know, this is the extraction of the oil process. This is taking it from seed to full flower. Here, like kind of showing you the process, so you'll kind of have an understanding of what this facility is going to go through and different things. And then well, by that time, we'll have baked like the different, offers to the members that we're going to offer. Like you said, come and learn how to cook with cannabis. Come learn about cannabis. Here's a new strain that we're creating. What do you think? And interacting with our members going that way.
How many
So-
members, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, how many members do you maximize for this particular site?
So
Do you think your maximum?
our goal is 5,000 members in the first year.
Like that.
That's our goal right now. About 5,000.
That's citywide, right?
That's citywide. About
Mhm.
5,000 members.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Again, we appreciate you.
So
taking the
thank
time
you
to,
for having it. Again,
explain this.
I do apologize with the turkey burning to go. It was, but I'm glad
Your business card?
I don't have one on me, but
We haven't waited.
This is
that's my contact. But I'll shoot you guys my
Contact.
contact. I believe I have Steven's
Yeah,
Mhm.
emails. Yep.
yeah, email.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Thank you so
it.
much.
Thank you so
All the best in
much.
your business and good luck.
Thank you
Good
so
to talk
much.
to you soon.
And if anything you guys need, like
Are we still recording?
cannabis, non-cannabis,
Still recording?
Yeah, we have to.
Because I want to do I want to ask you a question.
Once we-
like I said, if you guys need anything ever, I'm a good friend to have.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you for coming
Thank
out.
you for your
Appreciate it.
time, honestly.
So, thank you so much. So, Chair, just for the record, there are several businesses that asked to be returned for the
Following.
Giovanni Wines and Liquors, Tacos y Toronto, and Despatar. Is that what I'm saying?
I know you're not trying to pronounce.
You're not even looking. You see me struggling. You're not even looking.
Tacos de Torito.
Which
Okay.
businesses, please? The all the rest of them?
Do you want me-
Three. Yes.
So it is Peralta, right?
Yes.
Marlene Inc., Giovanni's Wines and Liquors, and Tacos e Torito.
There's a couple of businesses that asked to be tabled. I will communicate back with the committee on whether or not those businesses should recommendations be
Push
made
for me.
to either deny because they did not show up and communicate with the board,
Got
or
it.
they asked to be tabled. I know that one of them spoke to the community associate because the attorney apparently did not submit the documentation. Want to give the name of the business, please?
Correct. That was
Tacos.
Tacos El Toro.
So that is the only one that asked to be tabled at this time. I know there's going to be likely others who, and we'll communicate with the committee by close of business tomorrow so that you can be able to decide whether to table them or either to recommend denial for failure to present.
Let the record show that he did pop up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what she said. That's what she
Yeah,
said for that. With her, so the
No, just want to
we're
make
going to
sure.
make
Yeah.
sure that he did work for this one.
So he did show up, but
Right.
he just didn't have his.
And that is all for right now, Mr. Chairman.
Mm-hmm.
Any old business?
None, sir.
Do we make a motion to adjourn?
When your member comes back in the room, I don't know what's going on.
Can you?
I will.
I need a motion to adjourn.
I would Jesus motion to adjourn the meeting.
Having no other committee members, Mr. Chairman, the motion is up to you to adjourn.
I adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. No.
Thank you so much.
What's gonna happen with this?
What?
I kind of like it. I like
Oh, no,
his
no,
No,
concept.
we will.
For once, I really